A couple of days ago, the BRICS alliance sent shockwaves throughout the Western world and the cryptocurrency industry. This is the news that we are dealing with today. The construction of a new payment system that is independent of the dollar and the SWIFT system was confirmed by President Putin himself. As a result, XRP was highlighted as a potential component of this new system, with the intention of serving as the foundational layer during its development. And the activities that are associated with the BRICS alliance have not slowed down in the slightest. As a matter of fact, they have just announced as clear as day that the United States of America is powerless to stop them, and that we are currently witnessing the introduction of the New World Order, are emerging among states that are of the global majority, and those that are of the global majority, and those that are of the global south. These nations are advocates for a more equitable and just order that is founded on the principle of sovereign equality among states and the uniqueness of different civilizations. As we have seen, the transition to the new international order will require a period of time that spans both history and the present. In point of fact, would you be surprised if I were to tell you, or rather if I were to show you, that this shift in global powers, the BRICS rising and the dollar collapsing, the Xrp's taking over, it was all pre-planned years and years ago? This outcome was unavoidable, and the bully tactics employed by the United States of America were only going to last for a limited amount of time, we are able to see and hear. In October of 2014, which is over 10 years ago, he provides confirmation that the demise of the dollar was purposefully set in motion so that it would occur. All of this is demolition that is under control. Pay close attention to this. The petrodollar contract has been one of the most significant props that have been placed under the United States dollar. This is something that was published in the middle of the 1970s, which was another time when the dollar was being attacked. At that time, the United States, through Henry Kissinger, made a statement to the Saudi Arabians that said, look, we will guarantee your security, the continuation of the rule of the House of Saud and the national security of Saudi Arabia, because they were weak militarily and they had and I like to say that the Middle East is a bad neighborhood, they had a lot of enemies. For your part, we would like you to set the price of oil in dollars. There is no justification for the requirement that oils be priced in dollars. There are a number of different currencies that may be used to price it: gold, Deutschmarks, Swiss francs, Japanese yen, and euros. There are a bunch of various ways that oil can be priced. The fee, however, was agreed upon to be in dollars, return for our assurance that they will continue to rule and that their national security will be maintained. Over the course of 30 years, including the 1980s, the 1990s, and the early 2000s, that agreement went off without a hitch. In point of fact, it leveled the playing field for the dollar. Nevertheless, the agreement was broken by the President of the United States, Barack Obama, in December of 2013. Iran, which is Saudi Arabia's most vehement adversary, was the first country with which he engaged in the process of detent. The United States of America is currently communicating with Iran, stating, hey, you are our cop on the beat, you are our best friend in the Middle East. As far as the Saudis are concerned, this is a blow to their pride. As a side note, instead of selling the majority of its oil to the United States, Saudi Arabia is selling it to China. In other words, how much longer will it be before Saudi Arabia says, all right, China will take your currency in exchange for oil, or maybe we'll take gold, or China buys gold and gives us gold, and we'll send you the oil. However, the dollar is definitely not going to be a factor in this scenario. To reiterate, it has not yet taken place, but the process behind that is currently in motion. Then, it is highly important information, and this is pretty major news. But now, the issue that I keep seeing all over Twitter and even in my comment area is, why would the BRICS alliance use Ripple and XRP when they are an American company? This is a question that I keep seeing. Exactly, that is a valid question. Keeping this in mind, despite the fact that the United States is currently attempting to make reparations, Ripple was abandoned by the United States many years ago, primarily as a result of faulty regulations and the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) with Gary Gensler. Be aware that the majority of Ripple's business is conducted outside of the United States. Although they are an American firm, the majority of their operations are not even located in the United States. The majority of their collaborations operate outside of the United States at this very moment. In addition, they have a number of ties with the BRICS alliance, which means that the BRICS may potentially use Ripple and XRP as a medium of exchange, as a bridge to maintain their connection to the Western world while simultaneously altering the balance of power in their favor. Smoke, CBDCs, the Middle East and North Africa region, Qatar, and Ripple are all examples of this. Ripple has established a headquarters in Dubai in order to provide support for customers such as Qatar who are using Ripple in it. This is a very significant development, not only because Qatar has just started the first phase of their pilot program, but also because Dubai, which is located in the United Arab Emirates, has recently joined the BRICS alliance at the beginning of this year 2024. Furthermore, as we can see from Chad and Megan in this interview, the interview with RippleNet Corridor is from 2019, which is 5 years ago. The interview is about Saudi Arabia to India. Pay close attention. We are one of those locations that are particularly focused when it comes to international payments, and remittances is a significant possibility for India in the grand scheme of things. This is because we are a receiving bank in India. According to the most recent estimate from the World Bank, the country had an influx of about $79 billion in 2018. We had our first encounter with Mr. Rao From. There was a ripple effect that occurred during one of the major worldwide networking events. We came to the realization that it is something that is extremely unusual and very unique, and that it is something that the world had not seen for a very long time. As a result, we seized the chance, began discussing it, and attempted to figure out what it is that we might accomplish. During the course of our hunt for a partner on Ripple, we decided to collaborate with Indecent for a multitude of different reasons. Following the completion of a number of selection criteria and the completion of due diligence, we have begun the process of collaboratively beginning this adventure together. The fact that you are able to observe where a transaction is taking place, which indicates that it has left the organization, is currently on its way to be received by the other client, and will eventually be received by the other client, and will eventually be received by the other client. Because of this, we will need to construct a customer experience that revolves around that in order to guarantee that the customer is completely at ease when utilizing it. If we are talking about going live with a new partner, this has been one of the most enjoyable experiences we have had. At this point, it is important to keep in mind that Saudi Arabia, along with the United Arab Emirates, is a new member of the BRICS alliance. Additionally, India is a founding member of the Strategic Alliance. In addition to the fact that both of these nations have a strong connection to Ripple, the fact that this interview was conducted 5 years ago is more evidence that the takeover of XRP was strategically planned years ago. Since the BRICS coalition has previously stated that there is nothing that can stop the de-dollarization of the economy, there is also nothing that can halt the takeover of XRP. The Bank of America is a partner of Ripple. Recently, the largest bank in the United States of America has announced the production of a paper and article titled 2024 Capital Market Outlook. It was discussed that the development of a shared currency by BRICS and the gradual decline of the composition of the dollar in the entire financial system is unavoidable. I quote, "This is a partial to D. Nevertheless, this is not the end of the story." Russia has just made an announcement that the trade of digital currencies will begin in 2025, only the year after that, with the central banks of the BRICS plus nations, local currencies across nations, and thus trading in real time without a quick system and without the use of the US dollar. In addition, Ripple and XRP are the most likely candidates to serve as a bridging mechanism between the new BRICS payment system and the rest of the Western world, or even the entire world for that matter. And the most exciting aspect of all of this is that you just read that the year 2025 is going to be the year that this is going to take place. Everything, including the price of XRP and the date on which the switch would be flipped, has therefore been pre-planned by the company. There has been prior planning for all of this. The fact that we are currently at the final stage of expansion is demonstrated by this article that was published by the World Bank. The acceptance of cryptocurrency, the adoption of crypto technology, and the year 2025, which is the year of market. Maturity is the year in which blockchain adoption is believed to be mainstream and an important part of the ecosystem of the capital market. In addition, how about this from Cyprus? According to a spokesperson from Ons Bank, the adoption will be gradual at first, and then it will be sudden,